Valve timing diagrams, another important concept in IC engines. What is the valve timing diagram? It is the diagram drawn to show the valve opening and closing time with respect to the crank rotation. Ideally, or the theoretical valve timing diagram is shown here. So, at A point, the piston is at top dead center, and when the suction stroke start, it slowly move towards the bottom dead center. So the vertical line here, it represents top dead center at the top and bottom dead center here. So during the suction stroke, it is shown that the piston is at top dead center. This is the suction happening, and the piston reaches to the bottom dead center when the suction stroke stops. Now, when the compression stroke starts, the piston starts moving from bottom dead center towards the top dead center. So this is the compression stroke, and now the piston is reached to the top dead center. After the compression stroke, the spark happens in case of SI engine, and a fuel is injected in case of CI engine. And after that, expansion stroke happen, expansion or power stroke, where the piston will start again moving from top dead center to the bottom dead center during the power stroke. After the power stroke, for the exhaust stroke, piston will again move from the bottom dead center to the top dead center, and this is the end of the four stroke cycle. So suction, 180-degree crank rotation, then the compression, 360-degree rotation, and after the expansion and exhaust, another 360-degree rotation. So total 720-degree rotation of the crank angle will complete the entire four-stroke cycle with the two revolutions of the crankshaft. Now this is the theoretical case. Is it possible if we open the valve exactly at top dead center for the suction stroke? If we close the suction valve, inlet valve exactly at the bottom dead center before the compression stroke, can we ensure the complete charge or the full charge taken inside the combustion chamber? If we close the valve at BDC exactly, and if we open the inlet valve exactly at top dead center, we can't assure the sufficient charge or the air taken inside the compression chamber or the combustion chamber. Even the spark, if it is exactly happening at top dead center at the end of compression stroke, there may be some delay to ignite the charge, and that will definitely affect the combustion of the fuel. Also, in case of exhaust stroke, if the exhaust valve open exactly at the bottom dead center, so the exhaust stroke will start somewhat later, and we can't ensure that the 100% exhaust gases are expelled to the atmosphere. So what can be done for that? So we'll see the valve timing diagram of slow speed engine and high speed engine here first, and then we will go to the SI and CI engine valve timing diagrams. So let us understand the diagram. Here it is shown. So again, this vertical line is representing the top dead center and bottom dead center. Here this is top dead center, here it is bottom dead center. Let's start with the suction stroke. Here in this diagram, the suction stroke is shown from this internal curve, and then slowly it is going towards the outward direction. No matter, you may start from outer side and you may come inside, or you may start from the internal side and then you may go outside, doesn't matter. So we will start with the suction stroke, where the inlet valve open. Here it is shown intake opens, and you may check the angle, it is 10 degrees Celsius before the top dead center. This is the top dead center. So the left hand side we will mention it as before the top dead center, and to the right of this vertical line we will mention after the top dead center. Similarly, the this part exactly on the right hand side of the vertical line we will represent as before the bottom dead center, and the left hand side part of this vertical line we will mention it as after the bottom dead center. So let's understand the diagram. Inlet valve opens 10 degree before the top dead center, so that we will ensure that the suction soak start much earlier during the exhaust stroke only. When the exhaust stroke is about to finish, the inlet valve will open 10 degree before the top dead center, and now the charge is ready to enter inside the combustion chamber. Okay, and when the piston move from top dead center to bottom dead center, the inlet valve closes after 10 degree of the bottom dead center. Although the piston reaches to the bottom dead center, the when the compression stroke starts, till that 10 degree after the bottom dead center, now the piston has started moving from bottom dead center to top dead center for the compression stroke, but still the inlet valve is kept open. So please check, the inlet valve is kept open. It is open 10 degree before the top dead center, and it closes 10 degree after the bottom dead center. So that now the charge is taken at the end of exhaust stroke. Please check, at the end of exhaust stroke the suction started and suction completes at the start of compression stroke. So now the compression start after the 10 degree actually, and the compression is taken place here, and then the power stroke happens. After the power stroke, here you may check, before the bottom dead center at 25-degree crank angle, the exhaust port open or exhaust valve open. Please check. So exhaust valve open before ending of the complete power stroke, and the flue gases are expelled to the atmosphere, and please check, the exhaust valve closes after the 5 degree to TDC. So exhaust valve closes after 5 degree. It remains open although the suction started. Now why it is necessary to open the exhaust valve before the BDC? So that we have to remove the burned gases out of the combustion chamber. We have to ensure that no burned gases will left inside the combustion chamber, which will affect the combustion quality if the residue remains inside the cylinder. So we are removing the exhaust even though the suction is started, to ensure 100% burned gases will be removed out of the combustion chamber. So the angles are of importance. If it is a slow speed engine, you may check, the inlet valve open and closes 10 degree before TDC and 10 degree after BDC respectively, and the exhaust valve opens 25 degree before BDC and it closes 5 degree after TDC. In case of high speed engine, the angles are bit different. Like in case of high speed engine, the intake valve opens 10 degree before TDC and it closes 60 degree after the BDC. The angle is quite larger. So we are ensuring that huge amount of charge is taken inside the combustion chamber, and you may check that after the power stroke, the exhaust valve open 55 degree before BDC and the exhaust valve closes 20 degree after the TDC. So we are ensuring, we are giving much more time for the exhaust gases to be expelled. We are giving much more time for the charge to be taken inside. Now, what is valve overlap? You may check the valve overlap period. So this particular angle you may show from this left line to the rightmost line, here also from the leftmost line to the rightmost line. This is known as valve overlap. In the valve overlap, both the valves are open. If you check from this line, inlet valve is open and exhaust stroke is also here. So up to this line, the exhaust valve is open. Here also you may check, the inlet valve is opening here only. So it is open for this duration, and the exhaust valve, it is kept open up to this. So this is known as the valve overlap. Now In this slide, we will try to understand the valve timing diagram of the SI engine. So for the SI engine, we know that the spark is getting ignited after the compression stroke. So that also we will locate where the location is. So here in this diagram, now inlet valve open. So inlet valve open 10 to 20 degree before the top dead center. So in case of SI engine, the inlet valve open 10 to 20 degree before the TDC. Then this is the suction stroke, and the inlet valve closes after the BDC. What is the angle? Inlet valve closes after 30 to 40 degree after the BDC. So based on whether it is a slow speed, high speed engine, the angle changes. Now, after this, the compression stroke. Please check the ignition happens before the TDC only. Ideally, we have learned that at the end of compression stroke, that is at the TDC, the ignition happens. But here you may check the ignition happen much earlier. Before even the piston is reaching to the TDC, the spark ignition happen. Why this is so? So that sufficient time will be given to the spark to getting ignited, so that there will be less ignition lag, and there will be sufficient time for the flame to reach to the combustion chamber. So here the ignition happen earlier. So ignition happen 20 to 30 degree before top dead center. We may check here ignition. Then the expansion stroke start, and you may check the exhaust valve opening. It is also happening before the bottom dead center, where the exhaust valve open 30 to 50 degree before bottom dead center based on the engine. And here then the exhaust is continuous. The exhaust valve closes after the top dead center. You may check the angle for petrol engine. It is 10 to 15 degree after the BDC. So this is the diagram. This is suction stroke, continuous after the BDC, then the compression, ignition, expansion stroke, and the exhaust stroke after the TDC. Now we'll check the diesel engine for the valve timing diagram. So in case of diesel engine, if you check the inlet valve open, what is the angle? 10 to 20 degree before top dead center. Then it closes 25 to 40 degree after BDC. Then the compression happen. In case of diesel engine, as the fuel is injected, here the fuel injection start and fuel injection ends. So this is the fuel valve open and fuel valve close. So after the compression stroke, fuel valve opens at 10 to 15 degree before the top dead center, and it doesn't closes at TDC. The fuel injection is remaining open, or the fuel valve is open. Fuel injection is continuous even though the expansion stroke start. After TDC also fuel injection remain continuous, and the angle for fuel valve closing is 15 to 20 degree after TDC. Now here the start of expansion stroke here, and the exhaust valve open. In case of diesel engine, the exhaust valve open 39 to 50 degree before BDC, and the exhaust valve closes much later, that is 10 to 15 degree after the BDC. You may check in case of diesel engine, the valve opens earlier. Okay, so this is the valve timing diagram for SI and CI engine. Thank you.